Hi everyone, it's Edna here from Primo Coaching, and today is Mindfulness Monday. And if you haven't noticed already that our theme for March, or coming into March, is all about creating and setting clear intentions. So I really want everyone to be able to move into the second quarter of the year strong. So it's creating a platform for us to be able to create clear intentions. And last week's Monday mindfulness video was on setting strong. So strong, clear intentions. I hope that's right. So it was about putting yourself in a place, in a space where you're able to have clarity, where you're able to focus, and where you are able to create strong, clear intentions. And that were 5 tips from Deepak Chopra. Just dropped my pen. So tonight is moving into more ways that we can set clear intentions, and how we do it here at Primo Coaching, or how I do it, is number one is, where have you been? So it's about, figuring out, like, where have I been, what have I done, what can I build on, or what can I use to create certainty within myself to be able to create clear intentions to move forward in life. Okay, so that was, in order to move forward, you need to know where you have been. And it's about looking back and finding the gold, even in the negative moments, even in the moments that weren't so good, or those moments where you felt you may have failed, or you felt you weren't good enough or weren't worthy enough. In those moments, there's golds, there's little gold nuggets that can help you create more certainty in where you're heading. Okay, and I hope you're following this. The next one was know where you're heading. Okay, so when you know where you're heading, the way is so much easier to find. And even if you don't have clarity yet, you might have a thought, and this thought might be a bit hazy. It might be I'm thinking I'd like to do this, but I'm not too sure what it's going to look like at the end, but this is where I want to be, and this is where I'm at now. So it's creating that you've at least got a target on where you want to be. And really it's about, okay, so if I've got this target now, so what can I do to get closer to that target? So it's setting smaller things, smaller goals, smaller targets, smaller milestones to get to that bigger goal. And don't stress out too much on the on the details, because it will all unfold as you go, right? So I just went through about breaking it down. That's the next step, is actually, once you know where you're going, break it down into smaller steps, smaller milestones, smaller goals that will get you there. Okay? Next is keep moving. So even the smallest trickle of water, the smallest, tiniest trickle of water can create the biggest ripple effect. So if we're talking in terms of neuro-linguistic programming, and we're creating new thought patterns, so everything we do starts with a thought. And if you're changing a thought pattern, it starts with a little spark. Okay, so a little trickle of something. So it's like, there's a little trickle of water that goes down a hillside, right? It's the tiniest trickle of water, but over time, this little trickle begins to grow. Okay, and then it gets bigger, and then it gets bigger, and then it gets bigger, and over a small period of time or longer period of time, it creates this big, huge, magnificent waterfall. And this is what we're talking about, is even the smallest trickle of water creates the biggest ripple effect. So you might want to jump in gun-ho, bang, 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 and you want to create this big, huge something. Sometimes you could be jumping in too big. Okay, could be going too big too fast. Who knows? Sometimes it's about creating small steps. Okay, what can I do today? Okay, what can I do tomorrow? And what can I do the next day? And so on and so on and so on. Okay, I hope you're following this. And this is the biggest one. Last of all is celebrate what is working well. Celebrate everything you do, even the tiniest. Let's say you got up out of bed on time, okay? You finished all your morning rituals, or going back to a time where I had to use my alarm to set my day, structure my day, you know, wake up, have a glass of water, breathe, have a shower, brush your teeth. Those were little milestones that I had to put in place, okay, for me, just to get out of bed and break that pattern of sleeping in and doing depression really well, okay? So put implementation, or put things in place where you are celebrating, okay? And now I do it automatically. I do it while I'm doing it. I do it in the morning when I wake up. I think of all the amazing things that I do the day before. Yes, and sometimes it is the little things, getting up out of bed, okay? Not yelling at my kids. Little things that you celebrate on the way become big successes in the end. So all these little tiny things, they mount up and they mount up and they mount up, and they create a huge ripple effect, and that's where the gold is, okay? So I'm hoping this is all making sense. So it's knowing where you've been, okay? Where have you been? What have you done? What lessons have you learned? What certainties can you bring with you to move forward, so you know where you're going? Okay, know where you're going. Okay, set smaller goals, smaller milestones to reach wherever it is you want to go, and celebrate along the way. Okay, I hope this is super helpful, and I hope I got everything. I may have missed one out, which was probably today's quote. They're all going to be posted up in the mini quotes to remind you throughout the week. Double checking that I've got it all in order. Definitely. And oh yes, this is the biggest one, today's. Know the answers will come. Okay, when we follow these steps, you have to have, there's an element of knowing. Okay, the question I said was, how many of us has stuck to our New Year's resolutions? Okay, and I have had a few people, come across a few clients already this year who have done the whole, they've looked at the goal that they want to see, and they're so focused on the end result that they're not focused on what's happening right now. Okay, we can't control, well, we can control the end result, but the way we do that is through what we do right now. Okay, what we're doing in the moment. And if we're focusing on shit, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do all these things. If you're focusing on all of the end results, you are missing what's happening right now. Okay, the things that you can't control, what's happening, you know, what the end result is, unless you're present to what you're doing right now. And I hope that is making sense, because in my mind I was just thinking about that and I was like, oh, that's a bit confusing, but it's not. Okay, know that the answers will come. Okay, because you know what you've done, you know where you're heading. Okay? Okay, so what you need to do is focus on those little steps in between, those little milestones, the little goals that will etch you closer and closer and closer to your big goal. And remember to celebrate. So if we're panicking about all those things that we get going to be doing or feeling at the end, if we're focusing on all of that, we're missing those milestones. We're missing celebrating. We're missing the point. Okay, I hope this is making sense. I feel like I'm rambling on. This is Mindfulness Monday. My name is Edna Brown from Primo Coaching. Let me know if any of this makes sense. Okay, and I'll speak to you all soon.